you know what I love about this, yeah, is that the Duchess of Sussex was in the UK and no one knew. It's like a master chess checkmate move of all time. So here's a picture she posted. Oh, and they're so lovely. You can see Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet in ALthorp and their uncle's residence, on their way to visit their grandma's resting place, Princess Diana's resting place, with flowers. And it's just beautiful. And Meghan managed to do this without not a soul knowing in the UK she was here. And it's driving the haters insane. Look at some of these comments, right? Just like about, oh, unkempt hair, they haven't got shoes on. Diana would be appalled. What is wrong? Like, genuinely, what's wrong? What's missing in your life? What's missing? Where can we get you some love or comfort? They're children. They shouldn't be trussled up and fuddy-duddy and sat in suits and dresses and tights. Look at the gardens. It's summer. It's a beautiful moment. And Meghan can't win if she announces it publicly. She's caught in publicity, and how dare she? And if she's keeps it a secret, how dare she? How dare she post these pictures? It's the comments that you're seeing. Or like, honestly, people are posting these. You won't be embarrassed. It's not normal behaviour. This is their grandma. They're going to see their grandma, and Harry has done everything so well. The respect he's shown his mother's side of the family, the respect he's shown his mother, and how he's raised these children and looked after his wife is just wonderful to see.
You do know that Meghan is always welcome at Diana's ancestral home. Kathy and Billy aren't. Kathy's not. So there's that.
Fuck off!
So Meghan shared sweet snaps of Prince Harry and their children Archie and Lilibet enjoying the summer holidays. So obviously Meghan last night took to Instagram and shared a rare collection of family photos from the Sussexes summer holiday on Instagram. And Meghan shared a rare collection of family photos, and it was from their summer holiday. And the photo collection spans the family's travels through Europe, which included stops in Portugal and the UK, also including a stop at ALthorp, Princess Diana's childhood home and final resting place. And one of the photos that Meghan shared on her Instagram showed Harry walking with Archie and Lilibet across the ALthorp estate grounds. And both Harry and Archie were carrying bouquets of flowers, so obviously they were for Diana's grave. And also another photo that Meghan shared yesterday on Instagram was Harry was seen tossing Lilibet into the air with the camera catching her mid-flight just before she splashed back into the pool. And I thought it was really lovely to see that father and daughter bonding, and you can't fake that. And it just looks so exciting, and you could just tell that the children were having such a lovely time with their father. And also there was another one. Meghan shared a photo of Archie sitting in the cockpit of a plane alongside the other pilots, and he was also wearing a captain's hat as he reached for the controls of the plane. And obviously we all know that Harry flew the helicopters when he was in the army. And someone said, oh, why is he behind the cockpit? But someone said he's just doing what his father did. And I don't know why people have to always turn it into a negative. And there was another one. Meghan was happily sunbathing with her rescue beagle, Mamma Mia. And she just looked so relaxed. She had her sunglasses on. Mamma Mia was up on her back legs looking at Meghan. And you could just tell that the dog was so happy being in Meghan's company. And yeah, Meghan just looked like she was living her life happy. And as I said before, Meghan doesn't read any comments that people post. Obviously, she shuts her Instagram comments off, which is really sensible. And she just looked like she was enjoying life, and that's that's all we want for her, really. We don't want her in a dark and unhappy place like she was in the royal family. So it's nice to see these photos showing her happiness and how joyful her life is with her family. And there was another photo, it was a black and white one, and it was of herself and Harry at a restaurant in Portugal, and they were laughing together over a meal. And I just found it so nice because they just looked like a normal, average couple, no airs or graces. They were just being themselves, having dinner, enjoying each other's company. And it was just really lovely to see, to be honest. What else could you say really about the photo? They were happy, and that's all that matters. As long as they're in love, I don't see any issue with Harry and Meghan being married, because everyone says, oh, they're always getting divorced. Oh, he's got another woman on the side. Really? He looks so happy in that photo, and you can't fake that. And there was also another photo, and it was Meghan and Lilibet walking hand in hand to the beach in Portugal. And also, I must talk about this photo. This is my most favourite photo that Meghan shared on her Instagram. So this is a photo of the Sussex family at the beach in Portugal, and Harry and Archie and Lilibet were running into the water and splashing in it, and obviously Harry was shirtless, and wow, what a physique. You can tell he goes in the gym and he works out. What a toned back. But as I was saying, they were in the water, and Meghan was further back. She was looking on. She was wearing a black backless high cut swimwear piece, and she accessorized her look with a pair of sneakers, sunglasses and a cap. And she also had her hair back and pulled up in a ponytail, and she just looked stunning. And she rested her hands on her hips, and she was just watching Harry and her children playing in the water. And it was just a lovely photo that captured that moment. Even though none of us were there, Meghan's photos always say so much. She doesn't have to put a huge caption. She can just put summer holidays, and we can just see for ourselves and use our eyes and just see what an amazing time they had. And I just love how Meghan does her style of photography. With the Wales' family, it's very formal and contrived and orchestrated. I love the way Meghan presents her photos and how she captures that moment, because no one needs an explanation for this photo. You can just see it there. Her husband in the water with their 2 children. Meghan's looking at them further away. She looks relaxed, and she just looked show-stopping in that swimsuit. I mean, her legs are to die for. I mean, not many people look like that in a swimsuit from behind, I'm afraid. And I'm afraid to say lots of people have been criticising her, I'm afraid. And I thought it's already started. They said she's got no waist, she's got chicken legs. I mean, if I had her figure, I would be on cloud 9. She looked absolutely breathtaking. And I don't know how people can criticise Meghan. Perhaps they should look at themselves. I'm not going to criticise Meghan because I know I don't look like that. So I'm not even going there. She looks absolutely phenomenal. She does. I don't know how she does it. Her skin, her legs, how she carries herself. She's just absolutely amazing. And she's a one-off. And obviously there's been a lot of controversy over her backless swimsuit, and everyone's saying, oh yes, well, she's only recreating the Diana look, because obviously Princess Diana did wear a lot of backless swimsuits, and she did have a black one, and now they're all saying that she's been copying her. And I like it how Kate can copy Diana, but if Meghan does it once, it's, oh, she's copying her mother-in-law. Why is she doing that? Doesn't she know her own identity? Why isn't she her own person? And I just thought, here comes the hatred already. I mean, whatever Meghan does, she can't win. She can't win. If she doesn't post anything, oh, she's hiding away. Oh, she doesn't want to be seen. When she does post something, oh, she wants attention. She's a narcissist. Why is she showing off her children? She asks for privacy. How many times do I have to say it? Harry and Meghan never asked for privacy. They wanted privacy on their terms. They were fed up with the media and the press controlling the narrative. And with Meghan and her Instagram account, she can control that narrative now of what gets put out. And as I've said before, the Daily Mail have covered it, but Meghan doesn't go, oh, excuse me, Daily Mail, can you cover this? She doesn't do that. She doesn't want them to cover it, but the Daily Mail do it because they want to get profit. They want to make money off Meghan. And as I said, she just looked absolutely phenomenal. Her legs are drop dead gorgeous. She just looked, you can't really criticise her. I don't know how you get these women on these accounts and they look atrocious and they look really bad. They're overweight. They're not very attractive. And then they come on here and they scrutinise Meghan. And I'm thinking, have you actually looked at yourself? Now, I get this when I talk about Kate's looks. And look, I'm not a royal. I've got my own job. I don't sponge off the taxpayer, criticise my looks, whatever. But you can't judge Meghan. You can't say she's fat, she's ugly, she's this. Obviously, you're just saying it because you're a Kate fan. And
Squaddies, can we just take a second to appreciate how funny this whole thing is? For years, we've been hearing the exact same line. Harry and Meghan can't stay away from the cameras. They're desperate for attention. They have to publicise everything. Okay, so explain this one. Meghan reportedly came to the UK, spent time with her family, visited one of the most meaningful places connected to Princess Diana, left the country, and hardly anybody knew. Where were all these so-called insiders? Where were the sources close to the palace? Where were the photographers hiding in bushes? Where were the breaking news banners? Exactly. Nowhere. That's what makes this story so satisfying. Because Harry and Meghan didn't argue with the critics. They didn't jump on television. They didn't release a 10-page statement saying, see, we can be private. They simply lived their lives. Sometimes that's the best response. Regular people know this. You don't have to win every argument. Sometimes you just keep doing your thing while everybody else keeps talking. And before long, the facts start doing all the heavy lifting. That's exactly what happened here. If Harry and Meghan were really chasing publicity every waking minute, this visit would have been handled completely differently. There would have been countdowns, exclusive interviews, friendly leaks. Somebody would have accidentally tipped off the paparazzi. Instead, silence. Beautiful silence. And honestly, I think that's what caught some people off guard, because it completely flipped the script. The same people who kept insisting the Sussexes couldn't breathe without attention suddenly had nothing. No airport photos, no hotel stakeouts, no dramatic arrivals, nothing. Harry and Meghan were out there making memories, while everyone else was busy chasing rumours. That's hilarious if you think about it. It's like showing up late to a football match after the final whistle has already blown. The game is over, everybody's gone home, and you're still looking for the kickoff. Now here's the part I really like. Harry and Meghan didn't let strangers decide when this family moment became public. They decided. Not the tabloids, not the gossip pages, not anonymous royal experts who somehow always know everything until they don't. The Sussexes were in the driver's seat. That's a big deal, because for years Harry has talked about losing control of deeply personal moments. This time, nobody took that away from him. Nobody got there first. Nobody hijacked the story. It belonged to his family before it belonged to the internet. That's exactly how it should be. And let's be honest, most of us live our lives the same way. You go on holiday, you enjoy the trip, then maybe a few days later you post a couple of photos. Nobody accuses you of hiding. Nobody says you're playing mind games. You're just living your life. Harry and Meghan did exactly that. The only difference is they're famous enough that some people expect a live broadcast every time they leave the house. Sorry, the Sussexes cancelled that subscription. At the end of the day, this wasn't some grand speech. It wasn't a dramatic comeback. It wasn't a media war. It was something much smarter. Harry and Meghan let their actions do the talking. And judging by how many people were left scrambling to explain what happened afterwards, I'd say silence spoke louder than any headline ever could.
Squaddies, can we stop for 1 minute and remember what this visit was actually about? Because somewhere along the way, some people forgot the whole point. This wasn't a royal tour. Nobody was cutting ribbons. Nobody was waving from a palace balcony. Nobody was posing for official portraits with perfect lighting and matching smiles. This was a family. That's it. A son bringing his children to the resting place of the grandmother they never got the chance to hug. If that doesn't hit you in the heart, I don't know what will. Think about it. Harry has spoken for years about keeping Diana's memory alive for Archie and Lilibet. Not through newspaper stories, not through documentaries, not through people telling them who Diana was, but by letting them experience places that matter to her. That's something every parent understands. If you've ever taken your kids to visit a grandparent's grave, looked through old family photos, or shared stories about someone they never got to meet, then you already understand what Harry was doing. This wasn't about making headlines, it was about making memories. And those are two very different things. The part that really gets me is this. The family had the moment first. The world got a tiny glimpse later. That's how it should be. Nowadays, people expect famous families to live stream everything. Breakfast, content, birthday, content, holiday, content. Walking the dog, apparently that's breaking news now. Give me a break. Harry and Meghan didn't turn this into a production. No flashing cameras, no reporters chasing them through the gates, no giant media circus. Just a quiet visit, a few flowers, and a family honouring someone they loved. Then, after the moment belonged to them, not to the internet, not to the tabloids, not to social media, Meghan shared one photo. One. Not 50, not an exclusive magazine spread, one simple image. And somehow even that was enough to get people talking. That tells you everything. Here's what makes me laugh. Some critics spent more time talking about what the children were wearing than why they were there. Seriously? Two little kids are paying respect to their grandmother and some adults are worried about shoes and hairstyles? Come on, that's missing the whole point. Sometimes I think people get so caught up trying to find something negative that they forget to be human. Regular people don't think like that. Regular people look at children carrying flowers and think, that's sweet. That's the first reaction, not let's zoom in and criticize. At the end of the day, Harry and Meghan showed something really simple. Family comes before headlines, memories come before publicity, and children deserve moments that belong to them before they belong to the rest of the world. Maybe that's why this story connected with so many people. Because underneath all the royal drama and endless commentary, this wasn't really about titles or tabloid gossip. It was about a dad making sure his children know where they come from. It was about honouring Diana with love instead of noise. And honestly, some of the most meaningful family moments don't need a microphone. They just need the people who matter most standing together. That's exactly what Harry and Meghan gave their children. No performance, no spectacle, just family. Sometimes that's the most powerful statement anyone can make.
Let me ask you something. How exactly is Meghan supposed to win this game? Seriously. Because every time she makes a decision, somebody moves the finish line. If she announces a trip before it happens, she's desperate for attention. If she keeps it private, what was she hiding? Then she shares one family photo after it's all over. See, it was all for publicity. Hold on, which one is it? Because those three complaints can't all be true at the same time. That's what makes this whole thing so ridiculous. It starts feeling less like honest criticism and more like people searching for a reason to complain before they've even seen what happened. It's like that one person who orders a burger, complains it's too hot, waits for it to cool down, then complains it's too cold. At some point, you've got to admit, maybe the burger isn't the problem. Let's keep it real. Most of us know someone you can never please. You text them too much, you're clingy. You don't text them enough, why are you ignoring me? You show up, you're doing too much. You stay home, you're antisocial. After a while, you realize it was never about what you did. They already made up their mind. That's exactly what this feels like. Meghan could probably discover the cure for Monday mornings, and somebody would still complain she announced it on the wrong day. That's the level we're dealing with. And honestly, Harry has been watching this happen for years. He's seen the headlines. He's seen how one decision gets twisted 5 different ways, depending on who's writing the story. So this time, they did something simple. They lived their lives. No countdown, no media circus, no giant campaign. Just a private family visit that stayed private until they decided to share one small glimpse of it. One photo, that's all. Not a documentary, not an exclusive interview, one picture. And somehow, that was still too much for some people. Think about that. If one family photo is enough to spark days of arguments, maybe the photo isn't really the issue. Maybe the issue is that Meghan made the choice herself. That's what stands out. She decided when to share, she decided what to share, she decided how much to share. Nobody else got to press the button for her, and that seems to make certain critics more uncomfortable than the actual picture ever could. Here's the funny part. The same people saying she wants attention were the first ones refreshing their screens, writing articles, making videos, and arguing online the second the photo appeared. So, who kept the story alive? Exactly.
Regular people understand this without needing a lecture. If it's your family, your memories, and your children, you decide when you're ready to share them. Nobody else gets to set the schedule. Nobody else gets to demand access. That's called having boundaries. And boundaries aren't something you apologize for. At the end of the day, this isn't just about Meghan anymore. It's about a simple truth. When someone gets criticized no matter what choice they make, the criticism stops being about the choice. It becomes about the person. And that's a game nobody can win. Harry and Meghan seem to have figured that out. Instead of trying to satisfy people who are never going to be satisfied in the first place, they chose peace over permission. Honestly, that might be the smartest move they've made yet.
Squaddies, when you strip away all the drama, all the headlines, and all the hot takes, this story isn't really about one visit. It isn't even about one photo. It's about something much bigger. It's about who gets to hold the pen. For the longest time, Harry's life felt like somebody else was writing the script. He'd wake up and discover complete strangers had already decided what he was thinking, why he made a decision, or what his next move really meant. Imagine living like that. You don't even get a chance to explain yourself because somebody's already written the headline. That's exhausting. Harry has talked about this for years. He knows what it's like to have private moments turned into public entertainment before he's even had time to process them himself. But this time, different story. This time, Harry and Meghan called the shots. Nobody leaked the trip, nobody hijacked the moment, nobody got there first. The family lived the memory before the internet even knew it existed. That's huge. And honestly, I think that's what really got under some people's skin. It wasn't the visit, it wasn't the flowers, it wasn't even the photo. It was the fact that Harry and Meghan didn't ask anyone for permission. They simply lived their lives. Then, when they felt ready, Meghan shared one quiet glimpse. One photo, one moment, one choice. That's control. Think about your own life for a second. Would you let your neighbor announce your family reunion before you even arrived? Would you let a stranger decide when your wedding pictures get posted? Of course not. You'd probably say, mind your own business. That's exactly what Harry and Meghan are doing. They're saying, this is our family. We'll share what we want, when we want. That's not being secretive. That's being normal. The funny thing is, some people spend years saying Harry and Meghan couldn't survive without constant attention. Now they're proving they don't need to explain every move, and suddenly that's a problem too. You can't make this stuff up. It's like someone complaining because you didn't invite them to watch you fold your laundry. Relax. Not every family moment is public property. Here's what I think this really comes down to. Power. Not royal power, story power. For years, the tabloids acted like they owned the remote control. Every headline, every rumor, every anonymous source. Click, click, click. Now, Harry and Meghan have picked up the remote themselves, and some people don't like that one bit. Because once you stop reacting to every rumor, the rumor mill starts running out of fuel. That's exactly what happened here. No dramatic response, no angry statement, no media war, just quiet confidence. Sometimes silence is louder than shouting. Sometimes one photo says more than 20 interviews ever could. And Harry and Meghan seem to understand that better than anyone. At the end of the day, this story isn't really about whether people love the Sussexes or criticize them. It's about something every regular person understands. Nobody should have more control over your family's story than you do. Not a newspaper, not a gossip column, not anonymous sources, not people online who've never met you. Harry and Meghan are finally living by that rule. They've stopped chasing the conversation, they're creating it. And by the time everyone else catches up, the next chapter has already begun. Now that's what I call a checkmate. Quiet, confident, and completely on their own terms. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, subscribe, share, and join the channel membership. We'd love to have you. I am your host, Miles. Stay blessed, stay awesome, and remember, don't let the tabloids stress you out. They're already doing enough cardio chasing Harry and Meghan. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.